on purpose, obviously. Because what's the problem with most introduction sections? A lot of introduction sections, somebody brings on a little guitar. And it distracts you the entire time. Because, you come here because of a particular class. If I bring a guitar, a little mini guitar, then you're probably thinking, okay, he's going to do something with it. There's a purpose for this guitar. He's going to sing some song with it, right? But what if I just bring the guitar on and I'm just carrying it around? I introduced it to the stage, and you're like, okay, it's there. You're still thinking about the guitar. That's what happens in so many introduction sections. Somebody introduces a mini guitar into the introduction section, and then you're left wondering, why is that guitar there? What's going on there? So have a look at this introduction. I'll put the guitar down now. Have a look at this introduction section. Can you find anything that could be a kind of guitar, a MIDI guitar in this introduction section? Okay, so let's look at this for a second. This is from the area of bioinformatics from last year. Somebody writing an article like you're doing now. Here you have a territory section. Here you have a niche, and here you have a move 3. So you have a move 1, move 2, move 3. Not bad. I'm already doing this now, but there's a problem. There are some guitars here. Extraneous information. Like this one here. So, I don't know anything about bioinformatics, but I'm reading this, and I see graphical representations. I said, okay, so there's something about this article where they're going to focus on graphical representations of data. But actually, if you read through the rest of the introduction and you read through the entire article, that's not a main feature of the paper. It's a little guitar. I keep waiting for somebody to play that guitar somewhere in the introduction, and they don't. So you have to be careful with extraneous information in your introductions. Or else you get something like this. What's Big Bird doing there? What on earth? Why is he carrying a guitar? You have to be able to explain that. Maybe there's a reason Big Bird's there in this picture. But otherwise it doesn't make sense unless you explain it. So, I would say that maybe this is something you could eliminate. And if you read it now, it still makes sense. Nothing has changed. It hasn't changed the meaning of the introduction. A lot of data analyzed in bioinformatics. Many tools have already been produced. Okay. argue that this here actually, starting from although, is really the second move, is really when the person establishes a niche. Although there are several software packages to aid in research and analysis, people do not always know which is better or which is going to fit their research better, and sometimes do not know if using software will help anything at all in their research. That's the main thing. That's the problem that they're trying to solve. So, I would even argue that this here is a bit of a distraction. This part about many who enter bioinformatics have only one side of training, biology, because they go from tools to training and then back to tools again. Okay, so if you take this out, and you leave this, in biology we have a lot of data analyzed, and bioinformatics has emerged to aid in the analysis of large amounts of data. Although there are several software packages to aid in research, people do not always know, okay, this makes more sense. There's no guitar here in the middle. Big Bird's not walking around. However, I think this is still an important point. The person has a point. They have a they say, or they have a, this is more like an I say. It's not a they say. It's in the they say section, but it's an I say. The person is saying, people who are in the bioinformatics area. Anybody here from bioinformatics? People who are in the bioinformatics area, they come from either biology or computer science, and so they have a problem reconciling one or the other. That's an interesting I say. It's not really a they say. So it's really a matter of the sequence. I would put this there. Now the logic makes more sense. There's a clear they say with no little guitars walking around, and then an I say. I would also fix a grammatical issue there. This is what happens with Google Scholar. Sometimes it doesn't get a few things, little things right, but the rest is fine. And I would include an after all. This connects, kind of adds logic to the argument. After all, many who enter bioinformatics have only one side of training, biology, computer science, and this leads to a large learning curve most of the time. Now this is much improved. This is much better. And I would even add a therefore, because you say, because of this, we need to compare. That's what they're doing. Okay, we're going to play a little game. It's very childish, of course, but first I want to start with something very basic, something that everybody knows. Everybody here knows the story of the Three Little Pigs, right? Or is it something only Americans or something? No, I'm sure everybody here knows the story of the Three Little Pigs. Everybody's seen them before. Now, I'm going to show you a version now of the Three Little Pigs, a very short story of it. And you tell me, are there any little guitars there? Are there any extraneous information happening in this story? Can you identify it? So have a look at it. Look at this story here. Okay, this is a very simple, childish story that you're familiar with, but it contains a lot of the sophisticated problems that I see when I receive introductions in manuscripts. This contains a lot of those problems. Take a couple of minutes and talk to somebody else about which problems you see here in this. And for those watching online, you can just think about it if you are alone and try to fix the problems already. Okay, have you identified a few problems? I'm going to give you a chance to fix it now. Should be pretty easy to do. So, on formative, I'm going to assign something for you now. It's a little activity called the 3 Little Pigs. All you have to do is access this text. You can copy the text and then put it into that field there. And then edit as you like. And then you'll send it. I will be showing your answers here. You have I would say about 8 minutes to do that maximum. Oh, sorry, there's a problem. I forgot to open the activity. Oh wait, no, it's open now. Was it closed before? Yeah, it's open now. Okay. So, in this text, there is a lot of what I would argue is extraneous information. And I'm going to read it. Every time there is some extraneous information, I'm going to play the guitar. Okay? So, there were 3 little pigs of different ages. Why are their ages important? There was a wolf nearby. They needed to build a home. The first pig decided to build a house of straw. The second built a house of sticks. Its name was Porky. Why is his name important? The third pig took longer to build his house. His house is made of bricks. Bricks are more expensive material. Is that really that necessary in this text? No. A hungry wolf came to eat the pigs. The pigs hid inside their home. The wolf easily built a house. It took longer to blow down the second house. The wolf did it. The third house made of bricks. It was impossible to blow down. Okay, but in addition to the extraneous information in this text, there are also things that are out of order or strange. If you don't imagine somebody didn't know this story. So I see that there are some versions that are improved that people sent. So let me show you a couple of them. Here, Alessandra Schneider, I like her version. She writes, once upon a time, there were 3 little pigs that needed a home because there was a wolf nearby. That's much better. Connecting the ideas. And I like the once upon a time as well. It adds style, but also some context. All right. Then, the first pig decided to build a house of straw. The second built a house of sticks. The third took longer to build his house and made it of bricks, a stronger material. Nice and logical. A hungry wolf came to eat the pigs, who hid inside their homes. The wolf easily blew down the first house. It took longer to blow down the second house, but the wolf did it. But as the third house was made of bricks, clear connection, strength, and time, it was impossible to blow it down. That is brilliant. Alessandra, are you here? No, she must be watching online. I think we should give her a full point. Good job. There are others who did it as well. Alejandro Lorenzetti also. There are a lot of good examples here. But I really like this one here because she eliminated all of the extraneous information. Took the name out, took the ages out, made it all make sense. Other people did some of that. A lot of you just left information. Obviously, this is a very basic text. But it's for you to get an idea of the problems, the typical problems that happen in introduction section. Okay, we're going to come back to this before the end of class, but for now, I want to take advantage of a little bit of time for you to look at each other's introductions. So, I asked you to bring a printed version of introduction today. If you have that here in the auditorium, then find 1 or 2, 3 people to talk to about that. The important thing is first talk about it, to contextualize. Don't just give them a piece of paper and say, read it. Tell them about what you're doing, what you're thinking about. And then ask for feedback, for example, about cars, about is there any extraneous information in there? Do things make sense? If you don't have a printed version of your introduction today, if you're still kind of thinking about it, that's fine. But talk to someone else about how you're currently conceptualizing the introduction. What's your idea? What are you trying to sell, and how are you going to sell it? And then, of course, give feedback to other people. If you're in the virtual group, if you're not here in the auditorium now, then you can, and if you have people around you, then of course you can do the same thing if you're working in groups. And if you're alone, then simply reread your introduction now, thinking about the 3 Little Pigs story, for example, and see if there's anything there that can be considered extraneous information. Okay, so you have a maximum of 10 minutes to do that. Now, go ahead.
que aconteceu?
Está circulando como se fosse áudio de tudo. Não tem, porque a gente tem uma coisa de gambiarra. Essa é a realidade. Essas mudanças muito complicadas.
Pois é, e agora a gente vai ficar aqui nesse auditório?
Só que a próxima aula. Aí na terceira aula a gente volta para a floresta.
Tá.
Eu também, mas tem que de geologia. Não tem como tirar. Geologia da casa. A TV alimentar, pegar a garota que faz aula, organiza o evento, é só aluno.
Ah, é?
Para perder a aula. Você sabe, infelizmente. Tem que ter um local específico, estrutura, o mindset para você falar, ou uma tela. Não dá, sem essa. Tem que tomar cuidado. Eu já podia estar formado pelo lado.
Eu acho que ano que vem seria bom reservar aquele lado da floresta, né?
Mas, por exemplo, se pedir em novembro agora, para 2019, o problema é que e lá tem cafezinho. É quase Fazer.
The second word for today, for attendance, is guiding. Guiando, right? Guiando. Guiding. So the word is guiding. If you're not finished, that's okay, you can continue. But if you have finished, I would ask you to, for those of you who are already finished, there's going to be an activity for you called exit slip. Just a second. And so, just to give feedback on what you just did now. But if you're not finished, that's okay, you can continue, you have a couple minutes. It is. Regarding the Three Little Pigs activity, if you want to change your answer, or if you want to still contribute an answer, I reopened the activity. So you can, if you want to change the text some more, that's fine too. You can do that. Yeah. Okay. All right. Now, to finish today's class, I want to come back to the introduction, and you saw the Three Little Pigs story. That was a very simple story. Now, you're going to see a real introduction, not from students. These are introductions written by, not in this class, written by people who are writing an article for publication. And these articles, you have two possibilities. One is going to be in Portuguese, the other one in English. They each have a problem in the introduction section similar to the Three Little Pigs story problem. So, what you'll do is you go to our website, and on our website, if you don't have access, then you can look at another person's computer or phone if you want. On our website, under today's class, you have two possibilities. One is an article introduction in Portuguese, or you can choose an article introduction in English, or you can do both. So you just choose one, this one, or that's what in Portuguese. Sementes de peroba rosa, or one in English, which is about beetles, not the band, but the insect. And what you're going to do is this. Choose an introduction, one or the other, English, Portuguese, or both. Identify the problems, like the little pig story problems. Try to find where the problems are. And then try already now to try to fix those problems if you can. But try to do it with the same people, if you're here now, the same people that you were working with before. The same people that you were talking to about your article. Try to solve the problems together. If you're watching this online and you're alone, then you could just do it by yourself, obviously. All right? Just like with the three little pigs, but much more complex, or more complex. All right? So you have 5 minutes to do that.
Inglês.
What you saw earlier, you notice that there are two mentions of a house being made of bricks. The first, he says, his house was made of bricks. And then at the end of the text, the third house was made of bricks. And there's no clear reason why there's a repetition there. Did you notice anything similar in this introduction here in Portuguese? There are other problems, but did you notice anything like that? Repetition of information? If you notice, yeah, here you have uma espécie de esperoca rosa, uma espécie florestal nativa que se encontra ameaçada de extinção. Okay? And then you have here again. And it's not clear why the information is repeated. So here you have, there are more problems with this, but this is one example. And with the little pig's text, remember that you say its name was Porky. And the bricks are more expensive material, and you think, why mention this thing? Why is that there? Was it a mistake? It's like big birds. Standing in the middle of the stormtroopers. But there is this one here. And all you have to do is, when you access it, you're going to first try to improve the introduction. And then when you do, just copy and paste it and put it here and send it. The other homework, of course, is for you to continue working on introductions, hopefully incorporating any of the feedback that you received today and any of the new information that you have thought about in light of the little pig story and the things that we've talked about. And before you leave today, if you can, and if you're watching this remotely, virtually, please do finish this exit slip. To give feedback on the activity for today. And that's it. So next week we're going to finish the introduction, talk about cohesion and coherence, also talking a little bit about authorial voice, a little bit also about citation of sources, and then finally the week after that is your deadline. So keep writing. In the meantime, If you need to talk to anybody after today, need some feedback, you can always book with Kappa. All right? See you next week.